everyone, this is Trisha and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I created this spooky candle centerpiece. Alright everyone, so to create my craft I have a number of items here on my table. I don't know exactly what I'm going to use or how much of it I'm going to use, so I'll just let you know as I do my craft. Now I will put a list of supplies that I did actually use in the description box below. Alright, let's get to crafting. Alright, so I'm going to start off with a pool noodle. Now my pool noodle is just a little over 2 inches in circumference here, so you want to make sure that it's a size where the little tea lights like these will fit on top of. And I'm going to be using these that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I need 3 of them because I plan on making 3 candlesticks, but you can make 4 or just make 2 if you wish. Alright, so these are the tea lights I'm going to use. We do want to test them and make sure they're working. So, yep, this one's working. I'll test out the others in a moment. So here's my pool noodle, and I decided that I want a really tall candle and then another one a little bit shorter, and then of course a short one. So just cut them at whatever size you want. And I've already tried this out. I've gone ahead and I've used this little craft knife, and I've tested one end to make sure that it does cut. And this is just a little knife that I got at the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to use these lines that I have here to decide my height. So I'm going to go about this high. I want it to be pretty high. So I'll cut that one first. Let me go ahead and measure it so I can tell you what size that is. Alright, so this first piece that I cut is about 15 inches long. Just to give you an idea of what I'm doing. And I want the other one to just be a little bit lower. So I'm going to cut right about here. And that's about 11 3/4. And then I want another one about right here. And I'll save this piece, but I could do a shorter one or maybe something taller somewhere in the middle maybe, but I'm going to go ahead and just do 3. And this is about 8 inches long. Alright, so I want to be able to put these tea lights right inside of them. So I'm just going to cut a little wedge inside about the size of the tea light. Just trim in there. You can mark it, use a marker to mark around the circumference of the tea light. And I'm just going to cut it like that. Okay, and then just try to pull out those little bits. Okay, what I want is for the tea light to fit in there like that. Okay, so I'll do the same with these other 2. Alright, so now that I've got that little hole cut out a little bit larger, all my little tea lights rest in there nice and snug. And the next thing I want to do is I want to do a little bit of carving on the top. I don't want my candles to be all even, so I'm just going to cut them. And of course, like I said, I don't want them all even, so I'm just going to do a little bit of carving like that so that it'll look like a melted down candle. And I'll do that to all 3. Now depending on how far down you decided to carve, you might have to cut in that little wedge again, or do your little carving first and then cut out the little wedge for the candle to fit inside the little tea light. A little bit more. Alright, so that fits in nice and snug. I've already tested out the other 2, so let's go to the next step. Alright, so the next step would be get a platter, some sort of a plate or a wooden board that you want to use as your base to put your candles on. And we're going to glue these onto our platter or wood base, standing up like so. Just like that. So I want to glue them right on here. Okay, so let's do the first one. And I want to put lots of glue. And I'm going to turn this. What I'm doing is I'm making sure that this part up here, this little cut part, is making sure that it's facing forward in some way. Kind of want to consider this, even though it's going to be a centerpiece, I'm sort of considering this the front. All right, so put that there. And again, we're gonna do the same with this one. And we're gonna glue it right next to that. So now that I'm putting it down on here, I wanna put glue between the two candles and press them together. Okay, so I'm just adding some more glue between them to hold them together. And what you could do is you could put a rubber band around them or some masking tape, something to hold them till the glue is dry, and then you can go ahead and remove that. The next thing we want to do after that, and I'm going to go ahead and let it go even though it's not quite dry, is we want to add some droppings of melted wax. We're just going to let the glue gun just kind of drip down the sides of our candlesticks here. And then it just depends on how much you want dripping down. All right, we're gonna let that drip as it wants to. Just make sure that you don't glue down the little tea light because you need to remove that for turning it on and off. All right, so now that you've added all the drippings that you want, we're gonna take this outside and spray paint it black. Now, you can spray paint them any color you want. My base is already black, but I'm gonna go ahead and spray that as well. Now, if you don't wanna spray paint the base, you want it a different color, of course, put these together and do your little drippings. Don't glue them onto your base. Just glue them onto each other, put a rubber band around them, as I said, let them hold, and then do your little drippings, take them outside, spray paint them, and then glue them to whatever you have for a base. And for my tea lights, I also want to paint them. I could leave them white, but I think they would look best if I did paint them. So I'm just gonna cover the little bulb part with some blue painter's tape, take them outside and spray paint. All right, so now I want to go ahead and start cutting some mesh pieces. So this is what I have. I have a roll of some black crafters or decorative mesh, and I've got this one as well, some purple, and then I also got this extra one. It's like a tulle and it's black with some purple spider webs on it. And then I also have this kind of a little tube type of thing. I also got this from the Dollar Tree. By the way, all these are from the Dollar Tree. And I got it in purple. I think it's really fun, so we're going to use that. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the rolls and I'm cutting about 6 inches. I'm not really measuring, so I just want to cut some pieces like that. I don't know how many I'm going to use, so I'm just going to cut as I need. So just cut a few to start with, and I'll do the same thing with the purple. And the same with the spider web one. Just cut about 6 inches. All right, so I'm going to take a black one, a purple, and then this one here. And then I've also cut a piece of this one. This is about maybe 20 inches or so. What you want to do is you just want to be able to just loop it like that. So just cut enough where you can make like a little bow. And that all depends on how much you want to cut, if you're going to be even using this at all, okay? All right, so on the table here, I also have these. These are greenery pins. This is what they look like. You could use some chenille stems and tie all this up with some chenille stems, but I find it super easy just to use these because they are going to be inserted into our candle, and our candle are made of foam. And I've already tested this out on the foam, and it pokes in just fine. All right, so we're gonna take our black and our purple, and we're gonna roll them up like that, little curlies. Just curl them up like that. And then you're going to gather the other piece like this, the tulle, and just stack them on top of each other like that. And then we're going to make the little loops here for a little bow. And we're just going to make little bundles like that. Now, like I said, you're going to do these as you need them. But if you want to prepare them way ahead of time, then go ahead and use some chenille stem or some wire and wrap around them to keep them together. So I'm going to use the greenery pin to put right over them. So I'm going to slide them up into the greenery pin. So as you can see right here on the bottom, they're sticking out, so they'll be able to stick right into the foam. Let me show you how that's going to be. All right, so here we have our candles all painted and dry. Look at the glue coming down. Looks like melted wax on there. All right, so now we're going to take these little bundles that we made with the greenery pin, and then we're just going to poke them right in at the base, right into the foam, just like that. Now, if you decide to wrap them up with a chenille stem or a little piece of a floral wire, you know, twist it on there, make them nice and tight. You can just use some hot glue and stick them on there. But I'm just going to stick them in like that. And I am also going to be using a little bit of hot glue so they don't poke back out. Now the next time that I put it, I want to make sure that I have this part in the front. So I'm just going to kind of just lead it forward like that on top, so we can see all the pretty bits that are in there. It's really dark, so I hope you can see that, like that. All right, so just make them as you fill it up. All right, so I just need one more back here. I've actually made 9 of these little bundles, so in case you're curious. And also here is the label. I didn't show you the label on these mesh. This is this particular one and the purple one. And then the one that looks like tulle. This is the label. And they have them in all different colors. If you don't find them at the dollar store, which I got at the Dollar Tree actually, you'll be able to find some like at Dollar General's, other dollar stores, and of course Walmart carries these type of meshes, and so does Hobby Lobby or Michael's. You could also order them online. One last one, and I decided that that would be enough. And there we go. That looks nice and full. Let's go to the next step. All right, so I also purchased this packet of metal words, and they say haunted, spooky, and beware. And I think they're super cute. Look at these. And it is a 3-pack. I'm going to use spooky because that is what I decided that I want to call my centerpiece. Of course, you don't have to use any of this. It's up to you. I'm going to take one of these and just glue it right up here in the front. So just some glue right on here on the metal part. And it's going to be resting pretty much on the mesh here, so that'll help to hold it. So I'm just going to put it down a little bit. Stick it right there. You can see that. Very nice. All right, so now I'm going to add some of these items. These are from the floral area there at the Dollar Tree. I got these little berries and these little branches. I thought they were super cute, and I'm going to use them. They're nice and spooky. I opted for these berries instead of flowers. I couldn't find the color that I wanted, and I didn't want to work with purple and black this time. But I found these berries, and I thought they were perfect. All right, so I'm going to take my wire cutters, and I'm actually going to cut off the stems. I'm not going to use the green, I don't think. Yeah, I'm not going to use the green, so I'm going to cut these fairly short stems right about here. Now, I think I'm only going to use 1 bush of these little berries. I think that'll be enough to put on my arrangement. I don't need to put too much. And I'm going to cut these also, a little short stem. I just need enough of it to go into the foam of the candles. And I can also use some hot glue to get them on there. All right. I've got a few more in case I do decide to use more, but I'll save these for another project. All right, so I want to start by adding these little branches, and I want to put them between the candles because I can see some of the glue, especially on this side. I can see a lot of that glue, so I want to hide that by adding one of these little branches right in there. So we're just going to put some glue on the bottom part. And just make sure that you're going behind the mesh bundles here. I mean, you could add this before you add the mesh, but that is what that looks like right on there. And I'm going to go ahead and put it between the other areas between the candles. Get a couple more, so I'm actually going to put them in the back because I feel like this is the front, or rather the sides. So I'm going to add more here because this is where I can see my little mess. when I was gluing them. And in this front one here, I don't see that, so I don't need to hide that. But I am going to hide the ones on the side. All right. And you just have to hold it so it stays there. Okay, so that's what I have so far. Can you even see that? I can't see it in the camera, but I'm hoping that you can see it. All right, so now I just want to glue these on there. I can just use the stem here to push it right into the styrofoam, or rather the foam of the noodle there. So I'm just going to push it right in there. I want one on the other side. And I'm adding a little bit of glue just so they don't pop out. I'm puncturing the noodle. One more on the other area back here. This is also going to help keep those little stems from wanting to fall forward. So there we go. That's what that looks like with the little berries. I had this one left over, so I'll save it for another project. All right, so I have these ornament balls from a couple of years ago. I actually don't even remember when I bought these, but I haven't had them in my storage. So I'm gonna grab these, and I really like them because they're nice and glittery, so they'll add some nice little shine to my arrangement. And I really like this one with the purple eyeball. It has a blue one here, but I'm gonna use only this one. And I think I'm gonna put it right in here. So I'm going to glue this down and hide it in my mesh so that the eyeball is the only thing that's showing. So let me figure this one out. I think I'm going to have it, going down like this. The eyeball like that with the little knob where it would normally hang. I'll put it downward. It's a little bit scratched up, but that's okay. I don't mind it. Let me add some glue back here so it glues to the mesh there. And there. There's that one eyeball. Haha. So I'm going to use the other black ones here. I'm going to use them on each side and then one in the back. And these I'm just going to glue them onto the platter here. Ribbon here on the side. I thought maybe I would use it in my arrangement, but I don't feel that I need it, so I'm not going to use it. But this is just another example of something that you could use. So if you don't find necessarily like this little tubey thing kind of mesh, you could use some ribbon. I think the last thing that I want to put on my arrangement is this spider. I really do like it. I was thinking that I wouldn't use it, but now that I think about it, I kind of want to. I'm just trying to decide what would be the best placement. She's not really like holding on. Do these bend? No, they don't. Okay. I think I'm going to put her off to the side here somewhere, like she's crawling up the side of the candles. So just some glue on the little arms where it's going to hold on from. There we go. Look at that spider. She's trying to crawl up. There we go. All right, so I'm finishing this off by placing my little tea light candles on the top of my noodle candles. And there we go, everyone. It is complete. This is what it looks like. Of course, I'll put the camera up closer so you'll see this at the very end, how it all looks. So this is my spooky candle centerpiece, and I'm very proud of it. So I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up and leave a kind comment down below. So if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel by hitting that red subscribe button right below the video, and then also hit the notification bell so that you get notified of when I upload my videos. I want to thank you very much. Have a spooky rest of your week. And as always, enjoy.